Hi, myself Nimish from the Electronics Era magazine, and with me Mr. Kevin Brennan, Senior Product Development Specialist, Indium Corporation, and Mr. Senthil Nagaraj, Country Sales Manager, Corporation. And we are here in the Electronica India exhibition. It's the day first of the exhibition, and we are in the Indian booth and interact with both of them. And my first question for you is, sir, according to you, how is the electronics manufacturing landscape evolving in 2026, particularly in areas like miniaturization and high reliability applications?
I'd say both of those are very important aspects of the evolution of circuit boards. Of course, year over year, things are always getting smaller and smaller, but now we're also seeing chips getting bigger and bigger. So you kind of have both sides where you need to have materials that can print very fine apertures, but also handle large components. And in the high rel side, the demand for computing power is growing, and with more computing power comes more heat, more wattage, voltage, but you need high rel alloys that can survive those type of conditions.
Okay, and can you walk us through your approach to developing new materials at Indium Corporation?
Of course. So as senior product development specialist, I work very closely with our R&D team, our technical support team, but most importantly, the customers. So we like to get to the customers, hear about what they need, what's coming down the line, so we can ensure that our materials are up to par for what's coming next. So when it comes to developing a new material, we typically talk to the customer, find out where's their pain point, what is the material they wish existed. We go back to our R&D team, we say, these are the top targets of where we need to be with our next generation of materials, and we kind of have this back and forth process of the voice of the customer, bringing that back to the lab, developing materials, iterating on those materials until we get something that can enable or kind of meet the reliability requirements or these demands of these challenging cutting edge materials.
Okay, nice. And how do you collaborate with R&D and marketing teams to bring new product from concept to commercialization?
So that kind of goes back to the iteration where we talk to R&D, they make some formulations. We have some customers which we're always open for development partners, we say, where if a customer is looking for new materials, they're open to testing them. We kind of go back and forth. They say, I wish, tweak this or try this. This didn't work. We go back to the lab, and there's that back and forth kind of cadence until we land on a material that works for them and everybody's happy.
Okay. And can you elaborate on the development and impact of products like Durafuse and Indium 12.9 HF?
Yeah, so I think Durafuse was a great Durafuse LT, so should specify because there's now a few Durafuses that have grown from the original Durafuse LT. That was an interesting case where we had a customer who said, we're using SAC 305, but we would like to be able to reduce the peak reflow temperature, but we're not willing to sacrifice drop shock reliability. So our R&D team, they came up with some alloy compositions. We had the customer test. We did, of course, some testing in the lab. We found we were able to drive down that peak reflow and actually improve the drop shock reliability. So it's things like that we hear from the customer what they need. We get in the lab and we try to make it happen.
Okay. Along with these two products, what are the new products that you are showcasing here in this exhibition?
We also have our Durafuse HR, high reliability alloy, and the beauty of that one is we're able to retain the high reliability properties, which typically come with higher VTC voiding or bottom terminated component voiding. We're utilizing the Durafuse technology, which is a dual powder solder paste technology. We're able to achieve lower voiding, but still have those great high rel properties that certain customers may need.
Okay. And how are challenges like miniaturization, thermal management, and warpage influencing material innovation?
So warpage is a huge one for us right now. Not only are the components warping, but these boards are getting larger, so you have to consider the CT mismatch between the component and the board. And with that, you need flux vehicles that not only can print these fine apertures, but they need the activity and the oxidation barrier to withstand these longer reflow profiles, because with large boards comes more thermal mass. More thermal mass can lead to uneven heating, so you need your flux vehicles to survive these reflow profiles and ultimately result in quality solder joints, avoiding things like head and pillow, non-wet open, or even bridging.
Okay. And what role do low temperature alloys and halogen free materials play in future electronics design?
I think low temperature alloys are the key for certain segments, because they enable the reduced peak temperature, which ultimately should result in less warpage during reflow, which would be less defects. But it also enables things like flex circuits, or more temperature sensitive things, as more and more developments in component manufacturing is still happening, but we're running into temperature sensitive components. So you used to be able to use SAC 305, reflow at 240, but now some components, maybe they can only go up to 235 or 230. So you need an alloy that allows you to reflow below that without sacrificing the reliability that they may need.
How you are looking the scope in India and about the Indian manufacturing market?
Uh, Currently, the momentum is clearly in electronics. So when you look at the Indian electronic manufacturing output, it is valued at 120 billion, and mainly driven by mobile phone manufacturing and power electronics and automotive electronics. And with an advancement in semiconductor and AI industry, it is expected to grow fivefold and to reach 500 billion in 2030. So I think it's quite possible. The milestone is achievable because there is a strong government initiative and the policy initiative and the China Plus One strategy and growing localization of that. And with advancement in the technology, India is trying to position itself with an innovative product lineup and the strong supply chain support. On the supply chain standpoint, India is trying to strengthen its global presence in India. And we have already a manufacturing facility in Chennai, and we have a distribution partners, and we have a distribution hub across the nation. This helps us to address the customer needs and accept faster deliveries and consistent quality.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. That's all from our side. And have best of luck and for the rest of the exhibition.
Thank you.
Thank you.